take this man to be your lawfully wedded husband?
I do.
And do you take this woman to be your lawfully wedded wife?
I do.
The ring, please. I said the ring, please.
I don't happen to have it on me at the moment.
But you will have, won't you?
I do. I promise.
Well, let's stop there. Now, most of you are coming along beautifully, but let's all do our homework so the run-through tomorrow night will be just sensational. Okay, kids, let's all relax now and have a bite to eat.
Mr. Crackerby, you may kiss the bride.
Well, I'd be delighted, but I don't want to get St. John mad at me.
Well, that's all right. After all, I'm only the best man.
Well?
Well, at my age, you got to consider an action like that.
Maybe I'd better kiss the groom.
Academy Award performances. It's hard to believe that you're only stand-ins.
Well, in my day, if you were going to get married, you did your own rehearsing.
Oh, I never rehearse with the real bride and groom. Why bother? At the wedding, they're always so nervous that they forget everything anyway.
Mr. Crackerby, I want you to know everyone appreciates what you're doing for Bill and Janet. The garden wedding, the catering. It's a beautiful gesture.
Yes, frankly, I never thought you'd become so involved in romance.
I want to be known as the man who did everything in his power to further the course of true love. Besides, I couldn't let the biggest society wedding of the season happen in somebody else's hotel.
Well, I want you to know when I get married, you're going to be my first choice to handle all the arrangements.
How about that, St. John? You won't even have to leave home to get married.
Tempting, but I don't believe in big fancy weddings.
On the other hand, he doesn't believe in small, plain weddings either.
Not exactly. You see,
Now, St. John's done a lot of research on the types of weddings he doesn't like. It's taken him years.
Well, back in Stillwater, Oklahoma, we call that stalling.
Susan and I have a beautiful relationship.
And you don't want to spoil it by getting married, right?
That's us. Pals to the end.
You've got to get to know each other. It takes time.
5 years? Back in Stillwater, if you couldn't figure someone out in 5 minutes, there was something wrong with you. Seems to me you're not trying, St. John. How about it, Susan?
I really wouldn't know. Excuse me.
Susan, I guess I was born with my foot in my mouth. I'm sorry.
It's not your fault. I always cry at weddings. Mostly because they're not mine, I suppose.
This understanding you have with St. John, I gather it's understood that he does the proposing, even if it takes him another 5 years to get around to it, huh?
That's the understanding.
I don't get it. Why should any grown man in his right mind want to let a girl like you out of his sight for 1 second? Well, back in Oklahoma... There I go again. Susan, I wish there was something I could do.
Thank you. No. You know St. John as well as I do. It would take a miracle to nudge him over the brink of matrimony.
Well, I don't believe in miracles. But I come from a long line of nudgers.
Mr. Crackerby, you have that look in your eye.
Shall we do a little nudging?
Sorry. Mr. Crackerby.
Later, St. John. Tony, you got yourself a deal. We'll straighten out the details later.
You can depend on me, sir.
Thanks very much.
Mr. Crackerby?
Yeah?
At the extreme risk of telling you something you already know, the rumor is out that I'm about to enter the blissful state of matrimony. Now, would you know anything about that rumor?
Yes, I've heard it. Mm-hmm.
And would you care to tell me your part in this Machiavellian scheme?
Michael who? Who's Michael Bailey?
You know very well what it means. Very clever and very wicked.
Thank you.
Am I to expect the entire Crackerby empire to descend on my bachelorhood? In other words, are you preparing an Operation Susan?
Well, let's just say that I hate to see you keep her waiting so long.
Mr. Crackerby, what are your intentions?
It ain't a question of my intentions, my boy. It's a question of your intentions.
Very well, then. Let it be known that my intention is to fight you all the way. Point and counterpoint, game, set, and match, check and mate. So whatever your intentions are, go ahead and do it.
Well, it may interest you to know that I'm not planning to do anything.
Nothing?
Nothing.
Sir, the very idea of your refusing a challenge of this magnitude is simply overwhelming. I await your next move. Nothing?
Nothing.
Nothing?
Nothing.
I was counting on being a bridesmaid. Boy, what a drag.
We figured Cincin was a gone goose.
Well, I'm sorry to disappoint you, but in spite of what you've been hearing, there ain't going to be any fancy footwork or any
Machiavellian.
Thank you. Or any Michael Hooligan bamboozling by me to get Quincy and Susan hitched.
You mean you're not going to even try?
There's some things that you just don't mess with. It's like love is one of them. It's like an old mule. The more you shove it, the more you kick it, the more you hit it. The more you slam it over the head, the more stubborn it gets. And pretty soon you're mad. The mule's mad. Nobody's going nowhere. Horse, on the other hand, I've never heard of a mule doing anything on his own.
What do you think, Junior?
What do you think?
I think he's up to something.
Hi, honey. Where's Mr. Crackerby?
Oh, I'm sure he's lurking somewhere nearby.
Well, I told him I'd stop by after I finished shopping and help him choose his gift for Bill and Janet.
Isn't it wonderful the way Mr. Crackerby makes a project out of marriage just like anything else?
He's not making a project out of it. He's being nice.
Well, I wasn't talking about Bill and Janet, actually, but of course, you wouldn't know anything about that.
About what?
Oh, come now, Susan. I think we know what we're talking about.
Well, I'm talking about Bill and Janet's wedding. What are you talking about?
Don't get me wrong. I think it's fun, actually, trying to outguess him. I'm enjoying it.
Enjoying what?
Susan, I'm trying to be civilized and go along with your little game, but fun is fun, and marriage is no place for it.
Oh?
This thing has gone far enough.
What thing?
Very well. Let's not belabor the point. You may take this message to Mr. Crackerby. You may tell him that I'm curious to see just how far you two will go to ensnare me.
Oh, if you were the last tutor on
Oh, let's not be insulting. Mr. Crackerby. Well, I'm sure you two have a lot to discuss, so I'll leave you alone to your little conspiracy. Susan?
Oh, that... What did you do to him?
Nothing.
Well, then why does he act as though you did something?
Because he figures I'm going to do something.
Well, don't do anything. I think I'm beginning to hate him.
Okay.
Well, don't do anything drastic.
All right.
What do you think you'll do?
Nothing.
Oh, you know, you're right. You shouldn't tell me. I really don't want to know. I just want to sort of have it happen out of the blue.
That's the way love is.
Mr. Crackerby, you suppose you might tell me when it's going to happen?
Yes, Lem.
We're all set on this end, boss.
Good. Would you mind telling me what we're all set for?
Well, the St. John Quincy project. When do we roll?
Lem, we don't roll. Forget it. I'm doing nothing about Mr. St. John Quincy.
Nothing.
Nothing.
Oh, I get it. It's too big for you even to tell me, huh? Well, don't worry about it, boss. I understand. I'll be on standby for when you need me. And good luck.
Frankly, sir, I'm disappointed. I expected much, much more of you.
Like what?
First of all, a power play, money, a crude attempt to buy me off.
Don't like it's been done too many times.
Then you failed to come up with a big job offer. You know, I become president of one of your corporations so that I can support my wife in the manner to which she's become accustomed. Of course, I would have turned you down.
Couldn't take the risk. You're too good a tutor.
Why, you've even failed to come up with the basics. You know, chance meeting in romantic circumstances, girl goes on extended tour of Europe, family pressure, all that. You know, I'm beginning to wonder if you have a move.
Hello, Mr. Crackerby.
Crackerby.
Hello, St. John.
I don't believe it.
I want you to meet Tony.
I don't believe it. Jealousy. Operation Susan is jealousy.
I believe you two met the other day.
The most obvious, the most amateur hiring an actor. All right, I'm jealous. See how green my eyes are?
He is not an actor. He's a business associate of Mr. Crackerby.
Oh, sure he is. And how I wish they'd both keep their nose out of my business.
As a matter of fact, he's a very old and dear friend of mine.
Who just happens to be the star attraction of some escort service.
I thought I knew you, St. John Quincy, but lately I'm beginning to think that for the last 5 years I've been throwing myself at an egotistical boob.
Oh, well, why don't you spend the next 5 throwing yourself at someone else? Your friend here looks like a prime target.
That's the first sensible thing I've heard since I've known you.
She doesn't have to throw herself at me. And, thanks to your offer, I'm going to be throwing myself at her. Pardon me. Glad to meet you. Come on, Susan.
You mind if I play through?
Well, to be honest, sir, I figure the first 3 months will be a write-off. But after that, I'm sure we can start getting in the black.
All right, Tony. It's a deal.
Thank you.
Oh, Tony, I'm so happy for you.
Well, then, let's celebrate. With dinner and a night on the town.
Oh, again? I'd love to, Tony. But I haven't gotten to sleep before 4 in the morning every night this week. Maybe tomorrow night.
All right. I'm going to hold you to that.
Better be going.
Oh, please don't leave on our account.
I wouldn't think of it, would we, Tony?
Mr. Crackerby, Susan, Tony, Trixie.
There, Trixie.
T-R-I-X-I. I'm in show business.
Marvelous for you, St. John. You always did have a flair for the dramatic.
Yes, you never did fully appreciate that, did you?
Well, it wasn't always this obvious.
So, you're in show business, eh, Trixie?
Well, sort of. You see, I'm
She's a dancer.
Yeah, at Danceland.
My St. John, you are improving. I can't remember ever having gone dancing with you.
Now, that's not true, and you know it. I've taken you to some of the best dancing spots in town.
Name one.
The Hippodrome Ballroom.
That's one of the best dancing places in town?
Aha, now we're getting to the heart of the matter. Money, class distinction.
That has nothing to do with it.
When I told you I wasn't good enough for you, I was trying to be romantic. I didn't expect you to believe it.
I was prepared to live any way you wanted us to, even when you were working in that sporting goods store.
Oh, sure, I can just hear you telling your fancy friends about my husband, the tennis ball clerk.
You're not my husband, so please stop shouting at me.
No, I am not your husband, and neither you nor Mr. Crackerby can change that.
Oh,
Since my name has come up, I'd like to ask one question that's been overlooked in this great debate. Susan, I want an answer, and I want it now. Do you have any further interest in St. John?
as far as I'm concerned, from this second, he no longer exists.
Mm-hmm. And you, Mr. Quincy?
I will be totally satisfied if I never see her again.
Good. That's all I want to know.
Mr. Crackerby, I want to thank you for clearing the air. Susan, will you marry me?
Yes, I will.
St. John, I hope you and your ego will be very happy together.
Trixie?
Yeah?
Trixie,
Yeah?
let's get out of here.
Boy, what a crummy day.
Yeah, boss.
You still on standby? It looks like there may be a St. John Quincy project after all.
All systems go here, boss. What's it gonna be?
I don't know yet, but stay on red alert. Those two kids have been bitten. Yeah, bitten by the love bug. Here you go, Hobart.
Boy, I'm glad we don't get invited to many weddings. We have to wear such dumb clothes.
Well, if you dressed the way you ordinarily dressed, you'd detract more attention than Bill and Janet. It's their wedding, not yours.
When I get married, I'm gonna elope.
Still have to wear a tie. Looks pretty good. Well, now, what's wrong with you, young lady?
Susan.
Well, what about Susan?
I didn't think she'd do it. I really didn't.
Do what?
She's going to marry Tony.
Well, I could have told you that 2 days ago.
You mean you don't care?
Well, Susan only said she was going to marry Tony because she was angry with me. She didn't mean it.
How come it's in the newspaper?
Well, she just wanted to make... She really is going to... She couldn't. Could she?
Good.
Mr. Crackerby, I hope you're satisfied. You've ruined a perfectly good and stable relationship between me and Susan in less than a week. If you had to meddle in someone's life, why did it have to be mine?
Would you mind explaining to me just what I did to ruin your so-called romance?
Well, you know what you did as well as I do.
Well, come on, tell me.
Well, first of all, you really didn't do anything at all, did you?
That's right. You outfoxed yourself, little buddy. I didn't do nothing.
Mr. Crackerby, please do something.
Well, I wouldn't want you to feel that I was trying to trap you or anything like that.
Sir, I know when I'm licked. Do something, anything.
You sure?
I'm sure.
Well, as it happens, I do have a little something in mind. Slim?
Yeah, boss.
Operation Susan.
Operation Susan? What, boss? We haven't pulled that for almost 20 years.
Well, we're pulling it now. How long will it take?
Well, I'll get right on it, but what about the phones, the hotline, the computers, Crackerby Enterprises? Everything will be wide open.
For how long, Slim?
About 2 hours.
Well, now that's all you've got, 2 hours. Now get moving.
Right, boss.
I can't go through with it.
You've got to, Surgeon. You're the best man.
Yeah, but Susan's the maid of honor, and she won't be further apart than that, and I just can't face her. That's all.
You're going to have to face her. She's leaving town right after the wedding.
St. John, there's Susan. She looks beautiful.
Yeah, she's with that Tony. Are you sure Operation Susan will work?
Back in Stillwater, Oklahoma, it worked.
Oh, excuse me, sir, but this is not Stillwater, Oklahoma. This is a matter of life and death. Oh, Crackerby.
Joe, over here.
Sir, a refrigerated package from Stillwater.
Give it to St. John. There you are, St. John. Operation Susan.
What's
Go
this?
on. Yeah, go on, open it.
Sir, if this is your idea of a joke, I find it very inappropriate.
It's no joke, St. John. This is a black-eyed Susan with the Oklahoma dew still on it, and it's going to get your girl back for you.
But how?
Same procedure I used when I was in your shoes 20 years ago. You hold it by the stem here, you see, and you hand it to your girl. Then when you say those 3 words that are so hard to say. That is, when you really mean them.
Oh, what are those?
You say, I love you. Now, get going before somebody walks off with your girl.
We are gathered together here in the presence of these witnesses for the purpose of uniting in matrimony this man and this woman, Bill Clark and Janet Ledbetter. The contract of marriage is most solemn and should not be entered into lightly. It should be entered into thoughtfully and seriously, with a deep realization of its obligations and responsibilities. Do you, Bill, take this woman to be your lawfully wedded wife? Will you love her and comfort her, honor and keep her in sickness and health, in prosperity and adversity, forsaking all others, and be faithful to her as long as you both shall live?
I do.
Will you, Janet, take this man, Bill, to be your lawfully wedded husband? Will you love him and comfort him, honor and keep him through sickness and health, through prosperity and adversity, forsaking all others, and be faithful to him as long as you both shall live?
I do.
Repeat after me, please. I, Bill, take thee, Janet, to be my lawfully wedded wife.
I, Bill, take thee, Janet, to be my lawfully wedded wife.
I, Janet, take thee, Bill, to be my lawfully wedded husband.
I, Janet, take thee, Bill, to be my lawfully wedded husband.
The ring, please. I said the ring, please.
Pardon me.
The ring, please.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
You may now place the ring upon the 3rd finger of her left hand. I now pronounce you man and wife. And now you may kiss the bride.
Tony was a darn good sport, actually. It's not easy to give up a girl like Susan.
I think he knew it all along.
I want to thank you. We both want to thank you for what you did.
Well, I keep telling you I didn't do anything.
Oh, yes, you did.
You got me to tell Susan I loved her.
Well, good.
Well, I just thought you know it all the time.
Well, how was I supposed to know?
Well, if you'll excuse me, I never like to meddle in romance.